That's not very original at all, Wayman.
We do not live in the most creative of times, do we? Especially when it comes to film. I mean, look at the movies that are in the theaters now. And really, over the past several years. All they are is prequels, sequels, reboots, reimaginings, and in the case of Disney, live-action remakes of their animated classics. Now, don't get me wrong, a couple of these have been decent. Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, they were pretty well done, pretty enjoyable live-action remakes, but, I mean, it still shows a creative bankruptcy, don't you think? Now, this past weekend, Disney went back to the very beginning and they released a live-action remake for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, Snow White, this is the most iconic of the Disney stories. It is literally what got the company off the ground and led them to what they are today, which one of the most, if not the most, iconic American film and entertainment companies. However, this movie has been plagued from the beginning with just a ton of self-inflicted problems. Now, I'm not going to get into them here because I don't have all day. I will say, however, that early reviews of this film make it just sound god-awful. And the clips I've seen just make me sad. It just looks like they're going out of their way to make a terrible movie. So, I couldn't bring myself to see it. Instead, I decided to do something a little different this week. I will not review the new Snow White film. I will go back, way back to 1937, and review the original OG Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This movie is considered an absolute classic, and many people consider it the greatest animated film of all time. It's also, adjusted for inflation, the most profitable animated movie ever created. But, does it actually deserve these accolades? So, in other words, what do we have here? Is the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs a movie that deserves all the praise and all the love it's received over the past 88 years, or not? Well, before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the plot for the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
So, let's chit-chat, huh?
Snow White is a princess living with her wicked stepmother, the Queen. Fearing that Snow White's beauty will outshine her own, the Queen forces her to work as a maid and asks her magic mirror daily who is the fairest of them all. For years, the Queen always got the answer she wanted. "You are," said the mirror. One day, however, Snow White meets and falls in love with a prince who overhears her singing. That same day, the magic mirror deems Snow White as the fairest. The Queen is furious. She orders her huntsman to take Snow White into the forest, kill her, and bring back her heart in a jewel-shaped box as proof. The huntsman, however, he cannot bring himself to kill her. He instead brings her to the forest and tells her to flee, run for her life. Snow White is distraught. She runs into the forest, where she comes across a cottage. When she enters the cottage, she finds that it is inhabited by 7 dwarf miners who, despite being apprehensive, make her part of their household. But when the Queen finds out that Snow White is still alive, the Queen takes it upon herself to find and kill her. So what works in this film? Well, I have to say, the animation is absolutely spectacular. Think about this for a moment. This movie was made in 1937, 88 years ago, before the beginning of the Second World War, and yet you'd be hard-pressed to find animation, even today, that is better. The attention to detail is amazing. The music in the background in conjunction with the animation also conveys all the emotions and stakes of this movie. It's the perfect marriage of the two. Also, in terms of music, to say that some of these songs are iconic is an understatement. I mean, who doesn't know Hi Ho, or Someday My Prince Will Come? Every character seems well developed. Even the dwarves, despite there being 7 of them, they're all given individual personalities that they get displayed on the screen. It's really amazing how they were able to pull that off. And finally, the themes of this movie: the dangers of vanity, the value of kindness and friendship, resilience and perseverance in the face of hardship, and the dangers and consequences of evil are just as relevant today as they were 88 years ago. And these are valuable lessons, especially for children, but really for all of us.
That is so sweet.
What doesn't work in this film, however, and really, I'm just going to nitpick a little bit, it's a little drawn out at times. Some of the animated scenes especially, you can tell that they were really proud of themselves with the animation. So they put a few scenes in there that maybe go on a little bit longer than they should. Kind of slows the film down a little bit, especially the bathing scene, if you remember that. I don't know, it just seemed to go on and on for me. And finally, the ending. Yeah, I know it's iconic, but it struck me as a little bit bizarre that the dwarves thought Snow White was dead, couldn't bury her, just put her in a glass coffin where she apparently sat for a long time. No one seemed to question, hey, if she's dead, how come she's not decomposing? Okay, maybe I'm being a little silly, but it was just something I thought about. So go back to our original question. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Does it deserve the accolades that it's gotten over the years? I have to say absolutely it does. It's just an iconic, timeless story. Its animation is beautiful. Its music is timeless. Everything about it is amazing. It's wonderful. And it absolutely deserves all the praise it's received over the past near 9 decades. So instead of risking it by taking your family to see what I've heard is a pretty terrible live-action remake, and, in this economy, you're going to be wasting a lot of money doing it, just stay at home. Make some popcorn. Throw on the Disney Channel and watch the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think you will thank me in the end.
You have chosen wisely.
Well, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week where I give you my thoughts and feelings on whatever I've seen. In the meantime, click that like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a question. Share this video with friends and enemies alike. And as always, thank you for giving me your valuable time. And I'll see you next week. Take care.